All right, guys, there was some talk the other day on the Fish North Georgia podcast about buzzbaits. A lot of people do them differently. There's no real wrong way to do them. But somebody asked about my buzzbait setup. So I thought I'd do a little video right quick, show you how I do it. I didn't talk about this for a long time on some of these modifications, but basically Gerald Swindle exposed it during COVID on Bass University. You can watch that episode. He rigs one up on there, and he makes the G-Man buzzbait's a great buzzbait. I'm gonna show you from start to finish kind of how I do it. Most of these modifications you can do on the boat, with one exception when I paint the heads. But hang with me for a second. I'll kind of show you what I do. I use the lunker lure. More times than not, it's a 3/8 ounce. Unless in the fall I need something small, then I'll go to a quarter, and maybe even just put like a split tail trailer on there. It's something very small. But most day in, day out, I use the 3/8 ounce lunker lure. So we're going to take this one out of the pack and get it open. This buzzbait I've been using for well over 20 years. It's got a really good hook in it. I don't really care about the color that much because I change up a lot of that stuff. So if you can hear a little bit, it's got a little bit of squeal, but we're gonna make it do a lot better. Okay, so first things first, for me, I take the skirt off. We're gonna pop this skirt off here because 90% of the time I do not throw a skirt on a buzzbait. I know a lot of guys do, nothing wrong with it. There we go, skirt's off. Now, a couple of the modifications that I do, like I said, you can do these on the boat, pretty easy. Take you a pair of pliers, grab right where it comes, where the wire comes out of the head, and I want to bend it up almost 90 degrees. Okay, that's my first bend. My second bend, I get about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch above where I bent it, and I bend it back. Bend it back down. Okay, bend it a little bit more. What that does, it drops the head of that buzzbait down in the water. Okay, same thing that Gerald does on his G-Buzz. That's my first one. The other thing it does, this buzzbait, when you get out of the pack, the hook's tilted a little more like this. I want it to be as flat as you can get it. Okay. Next, let's talk about the squeal. Everybody wants a buzzbait that squeals, right? So I always bend mine to where that blade is almost touching this wire, and you got a rivet little thing right here that slides. First thing I want to do is I want to take a pair of pliers, crimp it. What that allows us to do, now it will no longer spin. So I've got metal hitting metal. Okay, I'm gonna hold this up real close to the camera. You can see that this clevis here has got a little bit of a lip on top. I take my pliers and I turn that lip up in 2, 3, maybe 4 places. I want that blade where it will barely turn. Okay, and it'll start spinning. We always heard of guys hanging them on their antenna going down the road. I basically just shorten that process. Okay, those are the major modifications that I do. Like I said, I want to get this buzzbait to where this blade is grinded on metal the whole time. The more metal it grinds on, the more it'll squeal. You don't really have to wear the wire out to do it. You just have to bend that clevis up and get that metal to metal contact. Now, if you get to the lake, squealing more now. When you get to the lake, If your blade won't turn, just bend one of those little ears back, okay? You want it where this blade can barely turn. And I've got this blade almost where it's hitting this wire. I don't throw a clacker. I just keep bending it down till it gets to where it'll just about hit it. And as it's pushing through the water, every once in a while it'll bump. And it'll just change a little bit. It'll kind of skip and then it'll go back to buzzing. A lot of times that's where you get your strikes at. Almost done. So then what I put on mine, 99% of the time, this is just a regular old Z-Crawl Jr. And I'll thread him up on there. Now what this allows me to do, now I've got a very flat buzzbait that will skip. If you're around a lot of brim, like in the early part of the year, or May, 1st of June, get around brim beds, I'll even throw a green pumpkin color. I usually throw white, black, or some version of green pumpkin. And that way, I'm just mimicking whatever I want to mimic. But like I said, this will allow that hook's not as tilted forward. This rides lower in the water, and this gives you your squeal. That's what we can do on the boat. So you can take any buzzbait you got and do that to it. The one thing I do usually before I go out is, I don't know that it matters, I grab some painter's tape. I like to paint my heads. So what I'll do is I'll take a piece and I'll wrap it around the hook. I know all you guys love to paint, so this is like taping before you paint. I will tape this up like so. Okay. Regular old Lowe's, Home Depot, the paint store. I'll take some regular old spray paint and I will paint that head so it looks like that. And I've got a little hanger here that after I paint them, I hang them on. It allows them to dry. So when we get done, that's my finished product right there. Okay, so I already had this little guy painted up from the other day. So I've got my buzzbait with my Z-Crawl, and that's what she looks like. Silver blade, copper blade. If it's darker, I throw copper. If it's bright, I throw silver. I don't get real technical with it. But there you go. That's my buzzbait setup. Give it a try. Like I said, some of these bend, they're pretty easy to make. If you get a real thin wire buzzbait, you gotta be careful when you're bending it. Obviously, you can break it. But those are the modifications I make. Like I said, it's basically Gerald's buzzbait. I just prefer Lunkalure. I think I can make it sound a little better. Nothing wrong with his. I've thrown his. It's a good buzzbait. But the other thing with this Lunkalure, this hook is so sharp. So give this a try. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment below. Check you next time.